Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode 9 of Be With Me in the book of 2 Corinthians. Today is going to be about being a mailman, and that is a mailman of a message. And on one hand, we're going to find out we're insufficient for this, and on the other hand, we're exactly the right people for the job, that God sees us as we are and uses us anyway. So yesterday we learned that we were this fragrance. We were fragrance ambassadors and aroma carriers of this pleasing, God-given aroma of Christ. And we liken this to being this winsome, caramely smell of molasses cookies. And that smell meets a person right at the pointy end of their decision and election and salvation. And Paul asks, who is sufficient for such a things, to be involved in such a way? And kind of the short answer is nobody. No pastor, no church member, no church officer, is really qualified for this. Then he says we need to be doing this and involved in this purely with sincerity, but with also his authority, that he's tasked us to this, and ultimately we're going to be accountable. So here's the passage that kind of continues with it today. It's from 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 1. Are we beginning to commend ourselves again, or do we need, as some do, letters of recommendation to you or from you? In other words, what qualifies me to talk to you? You yourselves are our letter of recommendation, written on our hearts to be known and read by all. And you show that you are a letter from Christ, delivered by us, written not with ink, but with the Spirit of the living God, not on tablets of stone, but on the tablets of human hearts. Such is the confidence we have through Christ toward God. Not that we are sufficient in ourselves to claim anything is coming from us, but our sufficiency is from God, who has made us competent to be ministers of a new covenant, not of the letter, but of the Spirit. For the letter kills, but the Spirit gives life. So the metaphor here today is that you guys, you Corinthians, are our letter of recommendation, of interest. It's a letter that happens now in present tense, but also there's this sense that this letter is going to be left behind. So you have been written by Christ, by the Spirit of God, and it says that we're not the writers of the letters, but we are the deliverers. We are the mailmen of this letter. It's the ink of the Spirit that writes upon our hearts. So this is a pretty clear reference to Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 33. But this covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, declares the Lord. I will put my law within them, and I will write it on their hearts, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. And no longer shall each one teach his neighbor and each his brother, saying, Know the Lord, for they shall all know me. From the least of them to the greatest, declares the Lord. For I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more. And this is the day, this new covenant day, where God writes his promises and his passion upon the hearts of people. This is the day that the Spirit has been waiting for, and we get to be involved in it. We get to be mailmen of this. And on one hand, what makes us sufficient? On one hand, we look at ourselves and say, does my experience or my degrees or my church office or my age or my vestments or my clothes, none of these things make you sufficient, absent that our sufficiency comes from God. That is, our capability or our adequacy, our competence is from God. He's the one that makes us qualified to do this incredible job of being a mailman of the new covenant, which is God residing within. Tom Mailmen is a famous golfer on the senior tour now. He was talking one day about the golf swing, and back when I was a golfer, I listened very carefully. He says he's talking about the golf swing, and he says the hands deliver the message of the club swing hitting the ball. The hands deliver the message, but the legs are the message. And I think this is a good picture today, that we are the hands if you will. We are the hands that deliver the message of God. But the real meat of it, the real power, is this relationship with the Lord. So we have not just God come down, but now we have God within. And then we have God acting as this transformative process where he transforms our life. He transforms our money. He transforms our zipper life. He transforms our thought life. He transforms our tongue life. So there's all kinds of practical implications here today. Be writing a letter on other people, or to our picture here today, be delivering the message to other people. That is, be making spiritual letters with the Lord on the hearts of people. And I think it's a call to fellowship for sure. You can't do this stuff alone. I think it's a call to the messy work of mentoring. There's no such thing as spiritual lone rangerism, and certainly here this relationship that Paul has with the Corinthians calls us to that. And on one hand, who is up to this task? Answer is nobody. You get very humble thinking about this concept. Unless you say that Christ is the message, he must increase, I must decrease. If you think you are the message, you're sadly mistaken. We are just delivery men and delivery women for the message of God, as he is the power behind this golf swing of the spiritual life, if you will. So today, we are mailmen of the message. And yes, we are insufficient mailmen of the message, made sufficient by God. Thanks for listening. Be a mailman today.